सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुराः सुरगणाः। देवाय tasmai namaha. So children, today we will do the revision, a quick revision of the first 3 chapters. So what I am going to do is, I am only going to give you the most important summary, the most important aspects and the summary of the chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Because we have done it earlier, and in the 3 chapters also, we have taken only those shlokas which are relevant to you. Okay. Today I am not going to take any shlokas as such, but I am going to actually give you the summary of each chapter as a revision, because we have already done the shlokas earlier. You have seen that. Okay. So let us see what the first chapter is now. The first chapter is where, the context of Bhagavad Gita is talked about. What is the meaning of context? Where Bhagavad Gita was taught by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, what was the surroundings, what was the situation in which Bhagavad Gita was taught to Arjuna by Bhagwan Krishna. So that is what is described in the first chapter. In the first chapter, there is no teaching that is happening. In the first chapter, the Mahabharata war that is taking place in Kurukshetra. Okay, there is a place called Kurukshetra, very close to Hastinapuri or Hastinavati, where the Kauravas were ruling. And Dhritarashtra was the king. And Duryodhana and his 99 brothers, totally 100 people, were the children of Dhritarashtra. Okay, and what happened was, these people, that is Kauravas means Duryodhana and his brothers, they were always having an enmity towards the Pandavas. Who are Pandavas? Pandavas are the 5 sons of Pandu Maharaj. And it was said that Pandu Raja was actually the one who had to get this Rajyam of Hastinapuram or Hastinavati. But then, because he went to the forest, and there, because of some mishap, some accident, Pandu Raja passed away. And therefore, what happened was, Dhritarashtra was made in charge of the Rajya, till the Pandavas came and claimed the Rajya for themselves. Then what happened was, the Pandavas, when they lost their father, Kunti, their mother, brought the 5 Pandavas to Hastinavati, and the Kauravas and Pandavas grew up together. And the, all that was taught to them by Dronacharya, okay, and also by all the other gurus there, they were commonly taught. And as you know, the Pandavas always excelled in whatever they learned. Kripacharya was their Rajaguru, and then, they had Vyasacharya also, who was a guru for the Kauravas and Pandavas. At the same time, Dronacharya was the guru for teaching them warfare or archery. And it was seen that the Kauravas, that is Duryodhana and his 99 brothers, 98, they had one sister. So there were 99 brothers and one sister. So I can say Duryodhana and his 98 brothers. They did not like Pandavas at all. And right from their childhood, the Kauravas tried to harm the Pandavas, and they tried to even kill the Pandavas. There are many stories like that. But what is important for us to know is that for some reason or the other, the Pandavas were constantly, made to go to the forest to, fulfill some kind, of a vow or something like that. They were constantly in the forest for a long time. And then when the Pandavas grew up, and when our, the senior most of the Pandavas, who was the senior most of the Pandavas? Dharmaraja, who was the Yudhishthira Dharmaraja, who was the senior most of the Pandavas. He had to claim the kingdom. And when they came to claim the kingdom, the Kauravas, that is Duryodhana and his brothers, they were not willing to give even a small portion of the Raja to the Pandavas. And what ultimately belonged, that whole Raja, belonged to Pandavas. But then the Kauravas or Dhritarashtra was only a temporary king who had to take charge temporarily of the Raja. But then what happened was the sons Duryodhana and his other 98 brothers, they were so much after this Raja that they refused to pass over this kingdom to the people who rightfully actually belonged. That Raja or the kingdom rightfully belonged to the Pandavas, and the Kaurava princes refused to part with that kingdom. And Dhritarashtra was the king, mind you. But even then, Dhritarashtra did not put his foot down. He also supported adharma. He also supported his children. Dhritarashtra was considered to be, was told to be, or he is shown as a blind king. Yes, he was blind physically also, but also his blindness was also in the form of, an attachment to his son so much that he could not differentiate dharma from adharma. And then what happened? They tried their best, Pandavas, to get back their kingdom. And Lord Krishna also tried to help them in getting back their kingdom. Lord Krishna himself went as an emissary to Kauravas to make them understand that this Raja belonged to the Pandavas and they should give it back to them. But the Kauravas were not interested because they had already tasted the taste of, the riches and the kingdom, the power. So they were not interested in giving up or leaving what rightfully belonged to the Pandavas. They were not willing to give it back to them. And this thing actually led to a war. And the war was for what reason? It was called as a Dharma Yuddha. The war was a Dharma Yuddha because the Pandavas fought the war against adharma. The Pandavas fought the war to establish dharma because in spite of convincing Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, they were not willing to give back what actually belonged to the Pandavas. Therefore, this was adharma. When you take something which belongs to the others and refuse to give it back when they come back, this is adharma. Duryodhana was not only an adharmi in that manner, but Duryodhana and his brothers had done various forms of adharma in the form of trying to poison the Pandavas, in the form of trying to kill them, kill the Pandavas, and also they had also insulted the wife of Pandavas, Draupadi. All these were acts of adharma, and therefore to protect the society from adharma, Arjuna, the chief warrior of Pandavas, he was the one who was the most valorous. So it was, made clear by Lord Krishna to the Pandavas that to establish dharma, hey Pandavas, you must fight the war and get back what is rightfully yours. So whatever belonged to Pandavas, the Kauravas refused, and to keep up this dharma, the Pandavas had to fight this war. Therefore, this war is called as Dharma Yuddha. And there was nothing wrong in fighting this war. So when you fight a war simply to, defeat somebody and to usurp somebody else's kingdom, then it becomes an adharma. But when you fight the war for the sake of dharma, to establish dharma, it becomes a war fought for dharma. Dharma Yuddha it was called as. And then it was fought in a place called as Kurukshetra. And then who were the two parties there? Kauravas were one party, Pandavas were the other side. They were the two sides which were battling. Now, Pandavas had a smaller army and Kauravas had a bigger army. Okay? And Pandavas saw to it that Krishna supported them. Once before the war, when Arjuna and Duryodhana went to Lord Krishna to ask for help, that time what happened was, first Arjuna was seen by Lord Krishna and he asked, "What do you want?" Arjuna said, "In this war, I don't want anything except you, O Lord Krishna." Why? Because Arjuna knew that Lord Krishna was very auspicious to them, and Arjuna knew that wherever Lord Krishna is, that side stands for dharma and that side wins. Therefore, Arjuna asked only for Krishna's presence in their on their side. Whereas, what did Duryodhana do? He asked for all of Lord Krishna's army. Therefore, the two sides, they were not, balancing as far as the forces were concerned. There was a mismatch between the two armies. Okay, Kauravas had a 11 Akshohani Sainya, whereas the Pandavas had only 7 Akshohani Sainyas. Don't worry about what Akshohani is. Remember that Kauravas had a big army compared to the Pandavas. But the advantage was the Pandavas had Krishna on their side. Okay. Then what happened? The war was about to start. When all the conches were blown, blowing of conches was considered to be starting of any event in those days. And in the war also, all these conches from both sides were blown. And it was ready now. Both the parties, both the sides were ready for war. Then what happened at that time? Suddenly, Arjuna felt that he should, see who are all the people that have gathered to fight against him. And in this war, what was Krishna's role? What was Lord Krishna's role? Lord Krishna was basically Arjuna's friend. And when he asked Lord Krishna to come and be on their side in the war, what did Krishna say? He said, "I'm not going to fight the war. I'm not going to take any weapon, but I'll be there with you." And then what did he say? "I will help you to drive your chariot and lead you to the right places and let me be your Sarathi." So the friend that Lord Krishna was to Arjuna in the war, he became Krishna's Sarathi. Therefore, Bhagavan is called as Partha Sarathi. That means Sarathi means the one who drives the Ratha is called as a Sarathi. And Lord Krishna became Partha or Arjuna's Sarathi. Therefore, he is called as Partha Sarathi. And you know what is the function of a Sarathi? To lead the person who is sitting in the Ratha to the right places at the right time. Family members and his gurus, when he saw what happened, he was overcome by compassion. There was so much compassion in him. Compassion should come at it. Compassion means what? Karuna. That karuna or compassion should come when? At the right time it should come. But Arjuna had this compassion at a very wrong time. In the time of war. In the time of war, at the time of war, you cannot have compassion because there your only purpose is what? To put down the other side. Okay? If you start thinking of Ayo Papa there, that is not going to help. The duty of a Kshatriya is what? The duty of a Kshatriya is to protect the land against adharma, to protect the Raja from adharma and establish dharma. And for that, many people may have to be killed on the opposite side. So here, when a war is being fought, there is no role for any kind of a compassion. Okay, like in our wars also, when you have seen, is it possible for our soldiers, however good they cannot have compassion, because the reason why they are fighting a war is to protect the country. There you cannot have any kind of a compassion. But Arjuna was overcome by compassion and he became so sad. There was sadness in him that, my God, I am going to kill all these people. And if I kill all these people, How can it be? They're all so close to me, very well known to me. Will I not be doing some kind of an adharma by killing all these people? Therefore, I should not be really killing all these people. Instead of that, it is better that I leave everything and I go away. I cannot kill my own people. And suddenly, because of his compassion, wrong compassion at the wrong time, and because of his dukkha, Vishada, that's why the first chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Because of that, he was sad. There was so much of sadness in him, so much of sorrow in him. At the same time, compassion. He said, Hey Krishna, I cannot fight this war. My hands are trembling, not out of fear, but out of compassion and out of sorrow. My bow, Gandiva, is slipping from my hands. I am not able to hold it at all. And my mouth is dry. I am not able to see clearly. I am not able to stand. My head is reeling. I cannot fight this war. And what did he do? He sat down. He sat down on the floor of the Ratha and told Krishna, I cannot do this. By fighting this war, I will be causing more destruction. So many people will be lost. So many families will struggle. All the young men will go. There'll be only children and old people and widows of all these war with soldiers. What kind of a society will be there? No, no, no. I cannot do this. Even if the Kauravas are wrong, even if they kill me in this war, it does not matter. But I am not going to fight this war. And he sat down. This is where the first chapter ends. And at that time, Krishna did not say anything. He did not speak anything. Why? He wanted Arjuna to throw up all his sorrow and all his confusion. See, when you are, having a lot of sorrow, you are confused. Arjuna was confused. He did not know what he should do. He forgot his swadharma. He forgot his swakarma. He forgot as a Kshatriya what he had to do. And that is what he expresses in the second chapter. So, how does the second chapter begin? With Arjuna sitting on the floor of the Ratha and saying that it is not possible for me to fight this war because I will be causing a lot of anartha. I'll be causing a lot of problems in the society, and it will be such a bad society after this. That kind of a destruction is really not worth it. And how did Lord Krishna start talking to him in the second chapter? Lord Krishna said, Come on, Arjuna, get up. He started as a motivator. Lord Krishna became the motivator of Arjuna. And what did he say? He said, Come on, get up. What is this clabium that you have? You are such a well-known, and a courageous prince. People think of you, take your name and fight. And they say that if they take your name and fight, they win the war. You are such a famous and well-known, warrior, and you are getting scared like this. From where is this chicken-heartedness coming to you? Where is this unmanliness that is coming from you? This is the time where you have to be bold enough to fight the war. I know that you are not afraid, but you are confused. Not only that, you are overcome by compassion, which is not really necessary at this time. Okay, and also there is sorrow in you. Now, Arjuna, this is not the time for all that. You just get up and start fighting this war. So, first, he encourages Arjuna as a motivator, as a friend. When Krishna says that, Arjuna realizes that, yes, I'm confused, I'm helpless, I'm in great sorrow, I do not know what to do, I do not understand what is the right thing for me to do now. Should I run away from here and become a sannyasi, run away to a forest? Should I fight the war? What should I do? You are telling me swakarma, swadharma. What is my swakarma? What is my swadharma? There only I am getting confusion. Why, what I should not do, what I should do, there is a confusion in me. Therefore, hey Krishna, you are not only my friend, You are not only my Sarathi, but I know that you are something much more superior to that. And hey Krishna, I am going to surrender to you as a Shishya. Please teach me. Please tell me what is the right thing for me to do. What should I do in this situation? And what is my ultimate good? Please tell me, hey Krishna. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Hey Krishna, now I surrender to you. Why? Because I do not know what I should do, what I should not do. My mind is full of karpanya dosha. Karpanya dosha means what? I am helpless. Helpless because of compassion. Helpless because of sorrow. I do not know what decision I have to take. So, hey Krishna, I surrender to you as a Shishya. I fall at your feet as a Shishya. And hey Krishna, help me. Help me to understand what I should do, what I should not do. And then please tell me that which is for ultimate good of me. Please teach me that which is for my ultimate good. And then Krishna starts teaching Arjuna what is called as Atma Jnanam, or what is it that you have to know to be free from sorrow, free from confusion forever. So, Lord Krishna starts his teaching from the 11th verse of the second chapter, where he says, Ashochananvashochastvam prajnavadanscha bhashase gatasuna gatasuncha nanushocanti panditaha. Look, Arjuna, all that sorrow that you are feeling for your relatives, and all that feeling of insecurity, sorrow, confusion, compassion, and all that, they do not need that. It is not necessary now. At this point in time, what is necessary is that you fight this Dharma Yuddha. You have to do your duty. You have to do your Swakarma and Swadharma, and understand that you are not going to kill all these people. Let me tell you that you are looking at Bhishma, Drona, Krupa, and all these people as people who are just bodies. Now, let me tell you a secret, Arjuna. He starts from the highest. Lord Krishna starts from the highest teaching. And what does he say? Hey, Arjuna, understand that you or these people or any one of us, we are not this body. What are we? We are that Atma which resides in this body. What dies? The body dies. What is it that is injured? The body is injured. What is it that is born? The body is born. But who are you? Who are all these people? All of us are in reality nothing but that Atma. He calls it Atma. Okay, this is what is called as Atma Jnanam. He gives this knowledge of what is the reality of every jiva. We think we are the body, correct? I have explained it in fourth chapter to you also as to what is Atma and what is Anatma. So what does Krishna do here? He first starts from the highest level and tells Arjuna, look, I will tell you that ultimately there is nothing to worry, because you are not going to kill them, nor they are going to get killed, because you are only destroying their bodies. You are not destroying them, because they are not bodies. They are Atma Swarupas. All of us here are only that indwelling Atma. The bodies will come and go. The Atma keeps changing the bodies like old clothes. The old clothes, when they're old, what happens? When the clothes are not yet not really capable of being used, not fit for use, what happens? We throw away the clothes and get new clothes, isn't it? We all human beings who are here, including me, Krishna is telling, including me, God, we are not these bodies that we see. We are the content of the bodies, which is called as the Dehi or as the Atma. And therefore, Arjuna, don't think that these people are going to be killed by you. and you are not going to kill them or destroy them. That is the first level of teaching which Lord Krishna gives to Arjuna. That is the highest point, highest teaching of the Upanishads, of our Vedas, which is called as Atmajnana. And I have not given much of a detail of Atmajnana right now because you children are still very, very young, and therefore I have not given in detail. Just remember this much, that what we call as I is a combination of body and Atma. The body is temporary, Atma is permanent. Body comes and goes, Atma is all the time there. Body can die, Atma cannot die. Body can be destroyed, Atma cannot be destroyed. Okay? Body goes through all the changes, young, old, and disease, death, but Atma cannot go through that. And understand, Arjuna, that actually speaking, nobody is killed, nobody kills. Only the bodies come and go. That also, when their time comes, everybody has to go. And in this war, as I told you in the later chapters, the time has come for many of these bodies to disappear. So you don't have to feel guilty that you are killing these people. You are actually doing whatever is necessary in establishing dharma. So there is nothing wrong in what you are doing. That was the first level of teaching, highest level. Then Bhagwan comes to the level of dharma and karma. He says, Arjuna, you have to fight this war. What for? For the sake of establishing the dharma in the society, and also as a Kshatriya, it is your swadharma, swakarma. You are born as a Kshatriya bhai to protect the society against adharma. And when Duryodhana and his side of people are only engaged in adharma, as a Kshatriya, it is your duty to fight this war. Therefore, even if you kill all these people on the other side, on the enemy side, you will not get any papa because you are doing dharma. You are not doing adharma. Therefore, you will not get any papa. So, Arjuna, fight this war as a swakarma or as your swadharma. Then third level, Krishna comes down and says, hey Arjuna, look at that. You are such a famous person. If you run away from the war field, what about your kirti? Everybody will laugh at you. And is it ethical on your part? You are supposed to do a job. Last minute you leave that job and run away. Is that ethical on your part? You're not supposed to do that. So from the point of view of ethics also, from the point of your personal kirti also, hey Arjuna, you should not leave the battlefield. You should fight this war. How should you fight this war? You should fight this war in the form of karma yoga. Then comes karma yoga teaching. And what does Lord Krishna say? Look, what is karma yoga? Whatever you have to do, you do it with the attitude of offering it to God, to me, Ishvara Arpana. And whatever comes as a result, you accept it as my prasada. Therefore, Arjuna, be a karma yogi. Okay? If you are doubting whether you should fight this war or not, if you don't understand Atma Anatma, forget about it. If you don't understand about Swadharma, forget about it. Now at least understand that do this work as Karma Yoga. Whatever you have to do, you have to do. How do you do it? You have to do it without having too much of a focus on Karma Phala. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma kaphala heturbhuhu maste sangostva karmani. So what did Krishna say here? Do your duty of fighting this war as a karma yoga. Do this as though you are offering it to me. Arpana buddhya. Whether you win the war, whether you don't win the war, don't worry about it. Take whatever comes as my prasada. And by doing karma yoga, what happens, Arjuna? Your mind is cleared of all confusion. Straight away you cannot get this Atma Jnana, though I have told you, I have started from the highest step, but that is not going to help you. First learn to be a Karma Yogi. Don't get attached to your action as my action. Don't keep on thinking of what result you will get. I will get this, I will get that, I will not get this. No, the result that you get may be equal to what you want. The result that you get may be less than what you want. The result that you get may be more than what you want. The result that you get may be opposite exactly to what you want. Take all these as my prasada. Okay, this is called as Karma Yoga. Offering your actions to me, Yoga Karma Kaushalam. Accepting all karma phalas as my prasada with the sameness, samatvam. Don't judge the karma phala because I am the one who gives the karma phala as Bhagwan. Take whatever comes as karma phala as my prasada. So when you do all actions as offering to me and accept all the results of your actions as prasada from me, you become a karma yogi. Okay, and what is the use of karma yoga? What happens as a result of karma yoga? You will have, your mind will get purified. Your mind will get purified of all kinds of malas. Malas mean impurities. The mind has lot of impurities. What kind of impurities? That, the desire for so many things, hatred of other people, jealousy. Okay, all these things are there in one's mind. And when a person does all actions in the form of karma yoga, what happens? The mind is cleared of, too many desires, too much of desires, cleared of jealousy, cleared of hatred, raga, dvesha, anger, krodha, confusion, all these, slowly your mind starts getting clear. And therefore, Arjuna, be a karma yogi. Ultimately, where does a karma yogi go? A karma yogi clears his mind, what is called as a chitta shuddhi. And when his mind is clear, he is capable of understanding Atma Jnanam. Now, Arjuna, you are so confused, you are not able to understand Atma Jnanam because your mind is full of confusion. Therefore, right now, you fight this war as a karma yogi, and slowly, slowly over a period of time, when you start doing all your actions as karma yoga, slowly your mind gets prepared for this Atma Jnana. And who, once you have got this Atma Jnana, once you have understood what this Atma Jnana is, such a person is called as a wise person. Such a person is called as a Sthita Prajna. Okay, so what all did Krishna discuss in second chapter? It is the summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. And I am telling you in 10 minutes. Just imagine how difficult it is for me to tell the summary of second chapter in 10 minutes, which has 72 verses. It is so difficult for me to tell that. So what are they discussed? First, Krishna becomes a motivator. Second, Arjuna becomes a Shishya. And then what does Krishna do? Third, he tells him Atma Jnana. But Krishna understands that Arjuna is not capable of Atma Jnana now. So he preaches him, or he teaches him what? Karma Yoga. And then what does he say? A person who has done Karma Yoga for a long period of time, and a person who has gone to Atmajnanam, and a person who has understood very clearly what our scriptures are talking about, what Krishna talked about from 12th verse to the 25th verse of the second chapter, what is called as the Atmajnana portion of the second chapter. You can understand only after doing Karma Yoga for a long period of time. And a person who understands what Atma is called as a Sthita Prajna. And who is a Sthita Prajna? A Sthita Prajna is the one who is all the time content with whatever he gets. He does not crave for more and more and more things. He's happy. He's like an ocean. In an ocean, whether it rains or not, whether water comes in through the rivers or not, the ocean is always full, isn't it? You have seen oceans, you have seen the sea. You will never see an ocean or sea which is contracted, no? It is always full. Whether it rains, whether the rivers come into that or not, it is always full. Like that, who is this Sthita Prajna? Who's always fulfilled, who's always happy, who's always happy with whatever is. He does not crave for anything more. He does not dislike anybody. He does not have any hatred towards anybody. He does not harm anybody. He is all the time friendly towards everybody, which we saw in the 12th chapter also recently, isn't it? And this Sthita Prajna's state of mind is what one gets by understanding Atma Jnana. But Arjuna, right now, you are not yet fit for this Atma Jnana. You are not yet a Sthita Prajna. Therefore, you should do what? You should do Karma Yoga. So now, then what happens is, Bhagwan goes to the third chapter. In third chapter, Bhagwan explains Karma Yoga more in detail. Already Bhagwan has told what is Karma Yoga. Doing every action, whatever action anybody does, not only Arjuna, all of us, any of us, day in and day out, whatever action we are doing, we should do it as though it is a worship, as though we are offering it to God. And whatever result comes out of our actions, we accept it as the prasada of God. Then what happens? While doing our work, we are relaxed and we can do whatever action we are doing with all concentration. And whatever action we do will be the best action. And when we do the best action, what results do we get? We also get the best results because Bhagwan sees how we are doing the action. If we are doing the action without getting disturbed, and if we are offering the action to Bhagwan, then Bhagwan also gives us the appropriate results. Then, for us common people, for Arjuna, okay, that is Karma Yoga. But what about people like us? We are not fighting the war every day, correct? We don't have to fight Mahabharata Yuddha, Dharma Yuddha anyway. So, for us, commonly, how do we live our daily lives as Karma Yogis? How do we do Karma Yoga in our daily lives? So, what did Krishna talk about? Lord Krishna said, live a yajna way of life. Let your entire life be a worship to me. Let your entire day be a worship or a yajna to me, where whatever you do, you offer to me. Okay? And what is this yajna way of life? Number one, living in harmony with the environment around. When I live with harmony with the other people around me, with the environment around me, with the nature around me, then what happens? It is also like a worship of God. And what do I get out of that? Even the nature will give me back in the right way. What will the nature do for me? Rains will come at proper times. There'll be enough food for everybody to eat. Okay, there'll be no famine. So the nature also, all the gods and nature will give everything that we need. So when we are in harmony with the world, which is called as Jagat Chakra. Jagat Chakra means what? How the world is functioning very, very, very nicely. Okay, without any confusion, the whole world is functioning very nicely, correct? The seasons are coming in the proper time, sun rises at the proper time, day comes at a proper time, rains come at proper time. So this whole chakra of the Jagat, the wheel of life, the wheel of world, the wheel of nature, if it has to go smoothly, if it has to turn smoothly, what should we do? We should contribute to the nature. We should live in harmony with nature. What is the meaning of living in harmony? We become more of contributors and less of consumers. I told you that also, isn't it? We give more, we take less from nature. We give more, we take less. We do more, we expect less. Okay? Where whatever is possible, we give, we take less. Whether it is using nature's resources or whatever it is, we take less and give more. So I become a contributor. I also take from nature. I also need to survive, correct? So I need food, I need water, I need electricity, I need everything from nature. But how do I use it? I use it with care. I use it with what? Enough of all the time. I am very, very careful that I don't overuse it. I don't waste it. Okay? And when I'm living like this, when I'm living a life as more of a contribution to the nature, more of a contributor to the world, I help people in need. I share whatever I have with them. If I have more food, I share it with people who don't have it. If I have more money, I use that money to help people in the world around me. So, what do? I try to be helpful and contribute to this wheel of life that is going on and become less of a consumer. I don't waste the resources of nature. I have a respect for nature. I have a respect for gods. Okay, and whatever I do it as an offering to Lord. And then how do I do this offering, or how do I contribute? What is the way in which I contribute to the whole this cycle of the world? I talked about what? Pancha Mahayajnas. You remember, children? I talked about Pancha Mahayajnas. How to live one's life as Karma Yogi in this world. We can live a life of Pancha Mahayajna. What is the meaning of Pancha Mahayajna? I said there are 5 types of yajnas, isn't it? There is a Deva Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Rishi Agnya or Brahma Yajna, it is called as Manushya Yajna, Bhuta Yajna. You have seen, I have explained all this in detail. Today is a summary, okay, revision. So I am not going to explain all in detail now. So that means what? When I contribute and worship the devas, the deities which are responsible for maintaining the entire universe, that is called as Deva Yajna. Prayers. I offer prayers to all the gods. Say thank you. Thank you, O God, for giving me rain. Thank you. When I eat something, what do? Annapurne Sada Purne. I thank God for my food that I have got today. When I get some new clothes, I keep it in front of God and say, this is your prasada and I accept it. Okay. What is the meaning of this? What it means is that I worship and have a value for all the gods, and I worship them because I respect them, because they are responsible for keeping this whole world functioning perfectly. That is Deva Yajna. Pitru Yajna means what? Showing my respect to my parents. Okay? And those of my elders, ancestors who have already passed away, I offer them my thanks at the time of Shraddha, by giving Tarpana, by giving Pindadana. I show my respect to my departed ancestors. So my respect to my ancestors, my respect to my elders who are still living. Why? Because of them I am what I am today. So what happens? The elders bless me. They also give me prasada and my life becomes better. Then there is what is called as the Rishi Agnya. What is Rishi Agnya? All the scriptures, all the Vedas have been given by the Rishis to us, and studying the Vedas, like what we are doing now, studying the Bhagavad Gita, even if it's in a little way, like what we are doing now, simply getting introduced to Bhagavad Gita, right? Studying the scriptures, keeping the scriptures alive, this is called as Rishi Agnya. What is Manushya Yajna? Helping other people in the society. What is your Swami doing? Same thing, no? He's doing so much for people, isn't it? Schools are there, you are all studying there. So many things are being done, correct? All health centers are started, hospitals are started. What is this? This is Manushya Yajna, helping other fellow human beings, okay, because we can live in harmony with each other. Last is called as Bhuta Yajna, other than human beings, trying to be compassionate and trying to contribute to other jivas, watering the plant every day. If you have a tulsi plant in your house, every day watering that plant, it is Bhuta Yajna. You have some birds coming, keep them some water for the birds to drink, or just give them something to eat. Okay, one stray cat is coming, you just give some milk to that cat. What is this? Bhuta Yajna. That means what? We are trying to contribute and help other beings, the beings other than human beings also. So, what Lord Krishna said to Arjuna was, for Arjuna, at that point in time, Karma Yoga was fighting the war because that was his duty to be done. Correct? But for us, for other people, what is our duty? Our duty is to the nature. Our duty is to all devas or gods. Our duty is towards our elders, our ancestors. Our duty is towards our fellow beings. Our duty is towards other living beings. And our duty is also to keep our scriptures continuing, going. See, if everybody stops, we all stop, studying or reading scriptures, what will happen to the next generation? Nobody will know it. So that means, we have such a rich Vedic heritage, correct? We have such a rich Vedic culture. We have to know it and we have to pass it on. That is what is called as the Rishi Agnya. So ultimately, what was talked in the third chapter? Karma Yoga in the form of living life in the form of a yajna. Yajna means worship. Worship means contribution. Contribution means harmony, living in harmony with everybody around us. And Krishna talked about yajnas in the form of Pancha Mahayajnas. And giving my contribution, living in harmony with the deities, with the devas, with the rishis, with the elders, ancestors, with other people around me, and also with the other jivas other than human beings. So, in the first three chapters, what was talked about? The first chapter talked about where and why the teaching of Bhagavad Gita took place. It introduced the Shishya Arjuna and the teacher Krishna in the context, in the scenario of a war, and a little bit of war was talked about. And then it introduced to us, like what we have daily, confusion, sorrow, which we also have. Arjuna was also presented in that picture as a person who is confused, who does not know what to do, and he surrenders to Krishna as a teacher, and Krishna gives the teaching starting from Atmajnana, but knowing fully well that we people and also Arjuna are not now in a position to understand that highest knowledge called Atmajnana. So he came down to talking to Arjuna about being a Karma Yogi. Karma Yoga as a preparatory step to Jnana Yoga, to know this knowledge of the scripture. And he gave more importance to Karma Yoga because all of us can follow Karma Yoga. We are not prepared for Jnana Yoga. We are not prepared for Atmajnana. All of us can follow Karma Yoga. And how can we follow Karma Yoga? For Arjuna, fight this war. Offer it to me as a worship to me and don't worry about the result. For us, what? Live your life, everyday life as a yajna. Contribute to your fellow beings. Respect your elders. Worship God. Okay, help those other living beings, be in harmony with nature, then your life becomes a yajna way of life, and this is karma yoga for all of us. So this was the summary of the first three chapters. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.